Hello, everybody. How you doing? Okay. Good. All right. Gotta make sure somebody's hearing me out there. Let's see. This launch. There we go. Pick a monitor. There we go. What's up, LW? All right. If you want to see something I was looking at this morning, is a gap fill on Nasdaq. It got pumped up ahead of the other indices this morning because Apple released some positive numbers about selling 3 million iPad minis or whatever. And so it sort of got pushed up there. All the other ones were basically flat. And so I'm looking for it to come back and, by the end of the day, at least come back and touch 2641.5. There's a couple different ways to play this trade. So let me show you a couple different ways to do it. There's a lot of different ways, but it's been a whole lot of oscillation. But here, I'll pull this one out here. All right. So if we go over here, if I'm looking at NASDAQ and I'm looking to put my play on, then I have two different ways I can do a gap fill play. One of them is expecting it to probably close in the next few hours. The other one is thinking it may take a while. Okay? There's an advantage to doing it both ways. But let's say I thought it was going to close in the next couple hours, which I would, usually still close within the next, by about 11 or 12 Central. So let's see here. So what we'd be looking at is you're going to go for your highest reward, and we're working on a binary scanner right now. Let me see here if I can show this to you. It's pretty cool to actually show you like the best risk reward on binaries, and it'll also let you see. We're going to use it for premium collection, all sorts of cool stuff. But let's see here. I'm going to grab a screenshot of it. So I can pull it the way I want to. The one I had this morning. And one more second. Not perfect yet, but all the math is there. So there we go. It's also a very good object lesson. So this is the US Tech 100 right here. Okay, so when you're looking at this, what I'm doing is I'm basically figuring out which ones have the highest return potential. So when the NASDAQ was up 16 points, I was looking for basically a four strike move. And the reason I'm thinking four strikes is because, if you look at the difference between the strike prices over here, let's see if I can. That's weird. There we go. All right, difference between strike prices, it's 4 ticks wide. Okay, so if the NASDAQ is up 16 points, then that means I expect it to, 16 points from where it's currently trading. Okay, not from the gap fill, but from where it's currently trading. That means if I expect the gap to fill, I expect the NASDAQ to move, down 16 points. Okay? And so what I did was, basically we went in here, we put all the math and all the fun stuff in, and this is sort of try to see the easiest way to explain this here. if I, and here's what I did, is actually right here, I sold these, okay, around 95 bucks, the 28.28s. And so if I think that the market's going to move down 4 strikes from where it was trading at that moment, then we did, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's basically the price it should be at in a short period of time. It should be at $80.50. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? So if not, let me know. Because basically what I'm trying to build on here is the ability to, the bid's the price you sell at, the offer is the price you buy back at. So if the market moves down, then the offer, like if it moved down 4 strikes, that would become the offer. So you'd be able to buy it at 80.5. And that's called reading a price ladder. If you ever traded options, you do this a lot. Or looking at, deltas and things like that. We're not going into complex Greeks this morning, but that lets me know what price to set my take profit order at. Well, the other important thing here is you can see, why did I do this? Well, look at this, 290%. That was the return on this binary if it actually moved 4 strikes. Okay? Whereas this one was 237%. Sorry, just a little. Maybe I can use this thing. Yeah, that worked. There we go. Okay, so this one was 237%. This one was 285. This one was 240. This one was 208. So you can see, like, picking the right binary could have a huge impact on your earnings, your potential return. Now, this is based on movement, not based on time. Okay, so if it takes like 5 hours to move 16 points, this thing could actually still be out of the money, because the at the money, if you're ever trying to figure that out, it'll be right at 50 bucks. So you can tell that pretty much the market was, right around here whenever I took this screenshot. Okay, it was right around 26.56 there. And if it just moved 4 strikes, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would still be out of the money. So at the end of the day, obviously, time decay is going to affect it. Why does time decay affect binaries? Well, the main reason time decay affects binaries is because at expiration, what do they have to be? They have to be either 100 or they have to be 0. So the closer you get to expiration, the faster they have to move to get there. And so what will happen is you'll see at the end of the day, you'll see this be like, 20 bucks right here, and this will be 50. And then this maybe it'll be 5. And this will be 0. If it moves up to like 4 points, all of a sudden this thing will become 50, and this payment will become 20. And this one will become 20, and this will become 0. It actually makes it sort of fun to trade them when they're close to expiration because they'll move really fast. So as time goes on, it's going to have a serious impact. Price will have a massive impact on the underlying price will have a massive impact on the binary. And so this thing will be worthless here in around 1, 2, 3 o'clock if the market hasn't moved that far yet. Something else I also do is I'll set up, you can do this in NinjaTrader, you can do it in Thinkorswim, whatever. You need to have a live account in Thinkorswim to do this, but I set up alerts. And you just right-click. Well, I can't really do it because I'm drawing right now, but you right-click and say, create alert. And then I have it set actually to text message me, because you put in your email, and so I put in my email text message, and like number at tht.att.net or whatever, and it'll text message me the second it hits it. So even if I'm away, I can see that. Now, what happens if I'm right, and let's just say NASDAQ does go down and does fill in that gap today? And I don't get filled on my $80.50 pending order, because right now I have an order in right now to get out, like over here. And I just put on, if you had to put anything major, but to get out if the market hits $80.50. Okay? So if the market hits $80.50 and it does move down and fill the gap, and let's just say, the market gets down to 26.41. That was totally confusing. The market gets down to 26.41.5. And I don't get filled at $80.50. Okay, let's say it's priced at 85. Get out. So on a gap fill trade, I always get out when it hits the gap. Really, if it's within 2 ticks, I'm basically hitting the button. And if it goes ahead and moves that 2 ticks during that time, then that's fine. But I'm expecting to be out of that trade at that gap price. And so if enough time is decayed that it doesn't move fast enough for me to get filled at that $80.50, like based on this morning's price, then I'm going to hop out of the trade right away. So because this is where I got the $80.50 from. So if you're a P3 Signal subscriber, then you got an alert this morning that said, hey, get on. By the way, if you want to check it out, and Morgan probably has a link to it, but or if you want to put the link up there, Morgan, can they see that on your, when they go to tradingpub.com/Nadex, can they actually get a link right to our site over there? I don't know if they can. I'm pretty sure you can. But let's see here. Pull this up. All right, so we have that. And then I'll show you right now. This is something, and I'm making I have a whole PowerPoint, actually I have a whole video done on this. I'm just waiting for final approval on it. All the videos on about Nadex that we put out there actually go through Nadex compliance approval. So I'm an official educational partner with them. I trade them all the time. And so I get to have the fun joy of compliance review in your video. But it's good. Keeps everything, sharp. So now I go here and go, what would this thing be worth right now if it moved? Because remember, I did the 26.28. And so I go here, and I go, well, 26.28. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's even better news. Or 26.24. Wait a minute. I think I made that 26.24 because whenever we take them. Hold on. I'll give you accurate information. Yeah, 26.24. Okay. So 26.24, and then I must have been 3 strikes when I was looking at it to begin with. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So right now it's still about 84.50. So 85 right now. So it's ticked up. Now we saw it between 84 and 85. There's 84, so that's even a better price. So right now, then it'll go up. I'm not sure how Morgan's feeding everything, but it'll definitely be on our site. It'll be under the binary tutorial videos. So we basically on average post a new one there every week. Okay. And the reason I like this trade too, I mean, you're talking like $5 risk, and I'm not looking for like a $5, $95 profit. That's one of the worst things you can do. But yeah, very low risk. And then yeah, definitely be on our site. Yeah. So so right there you do have the time decay. So like right now we can actually see that there actually is increased implied volatility in the options right now. So the volatility is actually rising. How do I know that? Because this morning I could only buy it at like 85. Now right now I can buy it back at 83, which is better, right? Because I want to buy low, sell high. So they're actually pushing more implied volatility into the options right now. And it's sort of fluxing in and out. But so they do have implied volatility built in. You don't have to do all the math. They have an insane amount of volatility built in as far as like price. If that's what I don't know if you're talking about implied volatility, if you're talking about price volatility. So they definitely have plenty of price volatility. But notice how I put my order in, it's sitting at 85 right now. If it moves 4 strikes, that's 81. So I should easily get filled. And you know what? I'll be happy if I get filled, at the price I put it in at. I only risk $5 on the trade. So yeah, there is implied volatility. It's the implied volatility really of the underlying market as it's fluctuating throughout the day. So implied volatility is not a real. You can force a volatility number to a binary, but it's pulled out of the underlying market, and it's not a real number. It's it's an extraction of a price. So now you could also force the number. You can make a hard implied volatility number, put it in there to help calculate the price. But I wouldn't. You're going to go into. I can go through the math with you, but I'm sure most people don't. It's not going to help you make money. Now, what I do for let's see here, for factoring in implied volatility. Let's go up here. off for a second. Is I use my diagnostic deviation levels that I post every day factor in implied volatility. Okay. No, they don't have a. Wait, there's no such thing as like an implied volatility number. It's an extraction formula. So like if you're looking at Thinkorswim, it's like implied volatility, which I don't know, I have some issues on it, but anyways, then you're not gonna. That's not gonna help you here. So really gonna help you intraday anyway, but for implied volatility because the reason is Vega. And this is probably an important thing. Again, we're going into Greeks. I don't want to lose too many people here, but Vega is the Greek that says how much will an underlying options price change by how much implied volatility changes. Vega has the smallest, basically its impact gets smaller and smaller and smaller as you get closer and closer and closer to expiration. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you get further and further and further away from expiration. Why? Well, because the longer there is till expiration, okay, the more potential implied volatility movement there is. So since you're only dealing with, a week to a day to a couple hours, you're not really that concerned with implied volatility in that sense. And I can sort of, let's see here, I wonder if I can give you a really good example on it. And let's pull this up just to teach you. This is it's fun to go into options were my first love in trading, you could say. And let's see here, Thinkorswim. That's what I want. Okay, notice how this is our Vega number right here. This expires in 11 days, and that's 0.41. Notice how Vega goes up to 0.83, then it goes up to 1, then it goes up to 1.23. So implied volatility, that's like why leaps are horrible if you ever buy on a high implied volatility. Leaps are the worst options because they have the biggest impact on Vega. They have the smallest impact on, Gamma, things like that. But so Vega, yeah, you're not going to get a volatility crush on an option that expires the same day. So you're going to get your volatility crushes whenever you buy an option that that expires in, say, a week and has earnings tomorrow on a stock. So yeah, so you can't really play the whole volatility crush thing. So there will be a little bit of change, for just that intraday flux, but not enough that you could play a volatility crush. But yeah, I love showing off the Greeks, right? That's always fun. Some people are like, what is going on? So basically what it means is when implied volatility changes by 1, this is how much the price of the underlying market would change. Yeah, I don't want to do that. And look at this. I mean, let's go out here to like January 2015. So $3.30 change in the option value by 1 point change in volatility versus 11 days away, 41 cents. And I can go over here to no. Dark scan. What is it? I need to use this tool forever. I need to just do the math now. There we go. There we go. All right, so now we're going to go back in time. It's really an important lesson. If you understand options, this is one of the things you'd be really concerned with. If you don't, you're okay. All right, let's see here. Yeah, we'll choose the 15. All right, we're going to go in here, and we're going to watch. Let's see. The Vega, okay, of the at the money option, okay? So the one, see the difference in color right there? And then what we'll do is we'll step forward. It expires on the 19th. Okay. So there's basically your Vega before, you know, the options are gone. But so there's very, very, very little, like a 12-cent impact on the entire option, and that's on Apple. Okay, so versus, you know, $3. So I mean, yeah, there will be an impact, but you know, it won't be. I don't think it's not enough to go in and make a whole implied volatility strategy on it. All right. So now what I do is I use the implied volatility of 4 months, 4 options over 4 months, and I tie that into a deviation formula. So instead of using a standard deviation that looks at historical volatility or pivot points that look at historical price movement or ATR, historical average range, I'm using future market expectation, the future expected move in the market, extracting that number, plugging it into a deviation level, and then putting it on here. And you'll notice that these letters are incredibly accurate. I mean, like it's hilarious. I have a radio show I do every day. We'll pull them up, and I mean, you're talking like to the tick. These things will just, you know, like stop right at that level. And what this is these are areas where you take profit. Okay, so let's say you're going long or tighten stops. So let's say you're buying the S&P, then like at 14, 13.5, you'd look to, you know, trail your stop, you know, or close it. You'll manually have to close the trade if you're doing like Nadex, but for trailing stops. And then 0.7, you trail it again. 1, you're probably going to take some profit, if not close. And this is basically going to account for, what's that, 68%. See here, well, math, right? So yeah, 60. Yeah, it is 68%. So one deviation is saying that there's basically only a 32% chance the market will actually break out of this level. Well, that's really important with Nadex. It's probably one of the most important things. You need to have a expectation of market movement. Okay, it's like when you're selecting your strikes, especially if you're doing out of the money strikes for buying, how far should you even expect the market to move? Okay, if you're doing out of money strikes for selling, how far should you expect it? So if you're doing premium collection, this is really important. This means there's only a 32% chance your trade's going to lose. Okay, if you go into the 2 deviation mark, then, and that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. All right, so I mean, don't go like, oh, well, this means I won't, you know. But on most days, this is like what, like, you know, I mean, there's very rare we ever see it bust out of, you know, like 3. So I've seen a few 3 deviation moves in the last year. Like gold, we actually saw a 3 deviation move on Friday. And that was, I think we've seen 3 in literally the last 12 months on gold and silver. So like there was like a 100-point day and a 50-point day and like a 45-point day. It was crazy. But there's only a 5% chance it'll break out of a 2 deviation level. So as you can imagine, that could be very helpful if you're doing premium selling and you're trying to pick a strike. Okay, we'll back up Nadex. And everything off. And by the way, guys, today or this week is going to be weird in trading, so just be ready for it. Like, don't judge anything. Don't change your trading plan, or like I'm gonna say, you may change your trading plan this week, but don't change your consistent trading plan based on whatever happens this week, because it's just going to be weird. I'm trying to open up my. There we go. All right, so if I'm using, say, these deviation levels to sell premium, and let's see, so let's see, like if we're doing NASDAQ, okay, then we could first go to one just to look at 2610 to 2674. So we go over here, 2610. That's all the way out the bottom. That's a 1 deviation move, okay. And then which is pretty surprising. So there's a lot of implied volatility built into the options. I guess in a sense that's not surprising if you think about the fact that the elections are coming up, and so they're afraid that anything can bust right now. So they've already inflated the options a lot having that far out. But 2610, and let's see here, because we almost always encompass the entire market, and then down to up to 2674. Wow. So it's saying basically on the high side, like this would be your option. You'd probably be looking at selling for the, having that 32% chance probability that the trade's going to profit. And so I mean, think about it, you're wanting like a 70%. But you could use that. And like I said, this is stacked. Like this is one of the highest. We can go back. Let's see here. So it's showing 16 points. Yeah, there's been a lot of volatility built in. We go back here. I got the month. Let's see here. Yeah, I see 14 points. Volatility's getting worse and worse. That was not out there anymore. Yeah, so it's a couple of points higher than normal. You want to use. The nice thing is you do want to sell when volatility is high. So because it makes everything more expensive on the further out it is. Let's see here. I just want to go through it. I like to teach different things. So that way when you hear me, you hear me the same thing all the time. So we got that. And talked about the price ladder. If anybody doesn't get this, by the way, say, can you go over that one more time? And that's okay, all right? The only way you learn stuff is by letting me know that you don't know it. Because this is a pretty advanced concept on binary, just on reading the price ladder. But, let's see. Okay, gap fill play. All right, remember this morning I said there's two ways to play it. What's the other way? Well, my issue on this binary, the one bad thing about it is even if it goes down and fills the gap, if it doesn't do it fast enough, and I'm saying within a few hours, okay, I'm not saying like in the next 5 minutes, but if it doesn't do it fast enough, then it could still be a losing trade. So let's say it fills the gap like at 2 o'clock Central Time today. Well, that trade's probably not going to make anything, okay? Probably will lose everything. So what could I do about that? Well, my gap this morning, depending on which gap number you want to use, but 2641. So really these two right here, okay? The way when I say which gap number, there's two different close numbers you can use. There's settlement and there's last trade price. So, but so 2640, 2644. So being like right at 2641, I'd probably choose this trade right here, just based on one ROI, okay? 172% versus 131% return on my risk. And so if it got down here, I mean, within a point, this thing's going to be worth quite a bit. And it's pretty easy to figure that out. Remember, at the money is always going to be worth how much? So if you're doing binaries, what is your at the money binary going to be worth? So, Steven, do you know? What will your at the money binary be worth if it's right at the, damn, there you go, that's one of our guys. Hey man, how's it going this morning? Exactly. All right, there we go, done, awesome. So $50. So it'll be, I mean, 55 to 45, but basically $50. Because if it's, when I say at the money, what I mean is the strike price is literally right there. So like right now, the S&P is or the Nasdaq is quoting at 2657. Okay, so I bet if we go look at the ones that are closest to 2657, they'll be right around 2656, right at $50. Okay, why? Because there's a 50-50 chance at expiration that it will be in the money. Okay, because it could go up or it could go down, and since it's flat right now or at that price, there's a 50-50 chance. And that's basically, you can always count on. So this is one of the nice things in binaries. When you're trying to get it, when the pricing gets really confusing, which, I mean, if you just learn to count on the ladder, and like I said, we're putting a whole video up on this, but it'll be up this week. You can always count on basically the at-the-money binary being worth right around $50. So give or take $5. So a lot of times whenever I'm doing certain trades that are at the money, that I plan on closing at the money, if I do a gap fill, I'll buy back at 55. Let's see, if I bought, I sold, yeah, I'd buy back at 55, so that way I'm not worrying about bid-ask spread. I'll sell at 45. There you go, I'll give you. There you go, Benjamin, if you go there, okay, sign up, and you'll get free access to like 40 videos. So I go through like the basics. I start off with what is a binary, what is the platform, how does it work, so everything. You'll get immediate access to that. It's completely free. But I'll show you right here. When you log in, you'll see Nadex. First go through Get It Started with Nadex, and then go to Nadex platform videos, and then go down to Nadex binaries. And I go in here, and you got literally a whole massive amount of videos. So, why Nadex, how do they work? And I literally go through it. I go through a different ways to trade them and everything. So, but yeah, so Benjamin, that'll get you really everything you need to know. Plus, you get access to our trading forum, so you can ask me unlimited questions about binaries, and I have weekly live webinars. Okay, so if you can count on it being at 50, and we expect to get down to 2640, then if I sold the 2640, okay, then I can expect to buy back right around $55. Okay, so remember, just account for that bid-ask spread. Don't worry about the bid-ask spread. Or as one of my, I like to call it sometimes a big-ass spread, but but bid-ask or bid offer. The spread there, and yeah, you buy it back, so 91.50, and then you can go back and buy it back. So that's a little safer strategy in the sense of time really isn't working against you if you're doing an at-the-money binary, meaning it'll be at the money when the gap fills. So if the gap fills at 26.40, then it'll be at the money when the gap fills. Okay, and then the out of the money is going to give me a better return, so long as the gap doesn't take all day to fill. Okay, so that's pretty much how a couple different ways you can play gap fills. It is important to look at a couple different things. I watch these. I sort of take care of this on our service that we have. But you need to look at what's called settlement price and close price, and they are different. So I'll show you this. This is a new lesson for a lot of people in here. We go to, like, say, the Globex, and then we go over to the equity indexes. We scroll down. We'll look over. This is cmegroup.com. Go over to NASDAQ. There we go. So E-mini NASDAQ. Okay. Let's see where it says settlements. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to look at what it was, not simply the last trade price. Okay. Notice how they don't have the word close on here. So most floor traders are looking at the settlement price for gap fill. I'll usually take the one that's closer. So like the last trade CME has total of 2642.5. But check this out. This will sort of make you doubt your platform. But see here. Go in here. But check this out. This has 2641.5 for last Friday. The CME has 2642.5. Okay. The settlement 2641. So I usually don't pay attention to last on here because you don't know if that's bid, ask. You don't know if it's an erroneous trade that got thrown out. Okay. I'll go over either the closing price here. Oh, maybe it is 2642. Oh, it is 2642. Okay, that's good. But the problem with last trade price and targeting last trade price is if you go in there and they can manipulate it. Okay, they can throw in a number, whatever. And sometimes last trade price will be really low. And so I like to look at both of them and go, okay, what's going to be, better? And so I'll usually choose somewhere between settlement and last trade price, but usually leading towards the settlement price for a gap fill. For traders, look at settlement price for gap fills. Okay, they don't look at the closing price on your chart. So that is an important lesson to look at. Now I always compare both. And sometimes, like if the last one on my chart's closer, I'm probably going to trade it just because I'd rather use caution on that side. Does that make sense? Like, now, do you know what settlement price is? Some people may not know what that is. What they do is in the last 30 seconds, okay, right before trading ends, they take every trade that happened at every price, okay, and then and how many trades happened at that price. So let's say there was, and this is obviously a fake number, but let's just say there were four contracts traded, and that's it in the last 5 minutes. All right, and I'm just doing this to make it easy. Obviously, there's a ton in the last 5 minutes. But let's just say you're looking at whatever stock A, B, C, D, or future whatever, and 1300, 1300, 1, 1301, and we'll say 1300.5. Okay. And then we'll say there was 100 traded at this, and then there was 1,000 traded here, and then there was 500 traded here, and there was 10 traded here. All right, they're going to take this number, and they're going to volume weight it. So they're basically going to give it a weight. Okay, we're going to add up all those prices, and then we're going to add up all the volume, and they're going to divide them out. And that's the settlement price, 1,300.935. Okay? So, all right. And so what they did was they basically took every price and the volume of it and gave it that much weight. So if there was 100 shares traded, 100 contracts traded, that became the sum total. They put all that together, that became that, and that's how they volume weight it. So it gives it equal amount. If you just go last trade price, well, if you go in here and, what if there was a trade down here that was 1297? And that's what showed on the chart, because that was the last trade. But it was only one trade, literally one contract. What if it was 1250? Okay? See, by volume weighting, it smooths it out to make sure that it's not a manipulated price at the end of the trading day. So that's why settlement's a better price to use. That's why floor traders use them for like gap fills and things like that. And let's see here. I'll show you a couple more things, and we're going to wrap up here in just a couple of minutes. Show you the scanner. It's really cool. You can hop on here. You can check it out. If you're trading Nadex spreads, and I have a whole section of tutorials on Nadex spreads, which are like trading the underlying market. So if you're like, this binary thing is flipping me out, I just want to trade, I want to buy or sell something, spreads are the place to be. And I make it really, really easy. What it does, I actually take all the live data from the Nadex exchange, and I have a fixed feed directly into one of our servers. And then on the server, it parses all the data, does all the math. So you don't have to go in there and click on everything. Sort of like how I'm doing on that screenshot I showed you earlier, right here, where it's just doing all the math for profit and loss and everything else. So it does the same thing, but for the spreads, which are a bit more complex to understand, but actually easier to trade. And you go in here and it'll say, how far is it to break even distance? What is the risk on the trade? And you can narrow it down. So if you want to trade, say, NASDAQ right now, you can say, you know what, I want to go to, let's S&P. We'll make it sort of on NASDAQ instead of flipping up contracts and everything else. And let's say 2 contracts. Oh, whoops, it's loaded every contract. If you don't select anything, it'll load everything. There we go. And it's updating everything every second. So every single price is being updated every second. So I want to be able to make $2 for every dollar at risk. I don't want to risk more than $100. Okay? It'll instantly narrow down every spread that qualifies for that. And which is, very, very helpful. Let's see here. So here's on the S&P, every trade that qualifies, and I'm like, you know what? I want to sell, and I can just goes on the sell side. So after you've done all your analysis and you're ready to make your trade, instead of spending 30 minutes trying to figure out which of the 13 spreads that you're going to trade. This helps you figure it out really quick. And I go, okay, well, all these have 100 minutes till expiration. That only has 11 minutes till expiration. I want at least an hour. So I can do that. It'll drop that one off. I'm like, you know what? I think I want 2 hours till expiration. Do that. And now we have two different choices right here. This one has to move 5 points. That one has to move 3 points to be a break even. That one works 17. That one works 40. And then I literally just click this button, and it'll open my ticket in Nadex for me. So, which is pretty cool, very helpful.
All right.
Anyways, hopefully you get about settlement, about how to read a price ladder, a little bit how time impacts binaries, and again, definitely hop over here through the Trading Pub link. And Morgan, do you have the videos in the back office now, the feed or whatever? I know you have them built in there. Maybe you just have to link to them. But add at least one new, like very focused trading video every single week to our website, early on average. So like there's 4 a month that we put in there. And I'll show this one thing, and then I got to wrap up so y'all can keep learning today. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, so this is the video. I'm going to go in and basically explain and teach like multi-strike movements and how like time impacts binaries. So time and price. All right, well, everybody, thank you for hopping on today, and I hope you got something new.
All right, great. Thank you, Daryl. We appreciate you being here for sure. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed today's session. Remember, if you want access, and we've got access to lots of different videos, Daryl's video library, you can go to that link. It's tradingpub.com/Nadex. You just put your email in there. It's kind of a cool page. Basically, you put your first name and email in there, and it'll automatically email you a copy of those links. So that's that link, and then the Nadex account link. Welcome to check out as well. But hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm going to shut the room down. We've got Tony Laporta coming on at 10. He does a session for his subscribers only, and so that'll be in about 10 minutes. I'm going to shut the room down. If you are a subscriber to Tony's service, log in with the password that he sent you in the commentary. So when you bring the room back up, it'll bring you back in with that password. But thanks again for being here, and we hope everybody has a wonderful day. And Benjamin, after you put your info in at that tradingpub.com/Nadex link, it'll email you a link to Daryl's videos that you can get those there. So just put your info in there, and that'll and you get an automated email response with several different links that'll help you. But yeah, Daryl does a great job educating on Nadex. So we're going to shut the room down. If you have any questions, you can always email us, support@tradingpub.com.